Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, I don't understand why you have all this energy for the auto workers and none for the writers. The writers make up $78 billion in this economy. Why do you think that writers aren't entitled to more money than auto workers? They're the same. They're the same working class.
No, they're
people
not. They are not the same working class.
Okay, says who? Why do you think that?
Says the immortal science of Marxism.
Okay, what did Marx say? Enlighten me.
Marx said that the process of capital accumulation has its basis in the material exploitation of labor, physical labor, which is mankind's threshold in relationship to the natural world and how he transforms that natural world. Writers do not produce any value. You understand? So the money...
No, I don't, because you're wrong. Yes, they do.
The money... Listen, let's explain this from Marx's theory of value.
I don't give a shit about Marx's theory. Look at the numbers.
What makes these creative...
I don't give a fuck about Marx.
Now, this obviously isn't true. I care about Marxism a great deal. I don't care about what Haas thinks Marxism is, so I'm heading this shit off at the pass. Remember, I'm not here to change his mind. I'm here to call him an asshole as close to in his face as I possibly can.
Okay, you don't care about Marx. Okay, you're okay.
I don't care.
Okay, good. I hope you don't go down that path.
Tell me why you support. Tell me why you think Donald Trump's going to support the writers. He'll never support the auto workers. Excuse me. He'll never support any writers. He crossed our picket line in 2004 on IATSE. He crossed our picket line.
In 2004, I don't care about 2004.
Of course you don't, because what's only a couple of years ago.
Well, not for me. Sorry, that was when I was 10 years old or something.
It doesn't matter. He still crossed the picket line. He's a fully grown adult with a massive TV show, and that's how he got his money. And he doesn't want to pay people.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about Trump's personal qualities. I don't care.
Of course you don't give a shit. Says the communist with a fucking golden sword on his wall and Persian rug. Go blow it square out your ass.
What does that have to do? What does that have to do with communism?
Friend. You are nothing because you're not a communist.
Says who?
Says me. The guy in a labor union.
The guy who's for parasite writers.
They're not parasites.
Yeah, they are.
They're hired hourly. They're hired hourly.
Who cares?
And you think they're salaried, so immediately you're wrong.
Writers are parasites because the revenue comes from rent, you fucking idiot.
No, they don't. Writers are paid for their labor in a writing room.
The $78 billion has nothing to do with their labor, but it comes from monopoly rent from IP, you fucking retard.
Where do you think this money comes from? The fucking sky?
It comes from us! It comes from all of us who pay for their bullshit! When we buy a fucking movie, we pay for it, comes from us and no one else. They're leeches. And you can't even pirate their fucking movies without the FBI coming down your door saying you stole it.
That is so
Fuck you, you bitch.
Yes,
IP alone is the basis of that whole fucking industry. Intellectual property. Bunch of fucking parasites and do-nothings.
It belongs to the writers.
No, it doesn't belong to the fucking writers.
Without the writers, they have nothing. Without the writers, you don't have any fucking TV shows. When's the last time we exported a car worth of fuck?
Hey, dumb bitch.
What, you fucking fake communist? What, you fake communist? Yeah, without the electrician.
Without the janitor, you don't have the writers either.
Without the electricians, you don't have them either. And I'm an electrician. It matters to me.
The janitors
without the writers, we don't have jobs. Everybody should get paid more. Everybody should get paid more.
Okay, who should get more, the janitor or the writers?
Everybody. Everybody. If you're a real communist and you cared about class unity, you would care that everybody in the working class, whether you like to think they are or not, gets a raise. Of course not. Of course not.
That's not true. I don't have to give a fuck about parasite writers who make their...
What makes them parasites? They put labor, hired in a laboring, a hiring.
They're not laboring.
Said who? Because they're not in heart. All right, let's not fucking yell at each other. Because you understand?
On their notebooks.
That's first of all, it's writing.
By no definition is doodling.
I can put the microphone near my mouth too. I can put the microphone in my mouth too.
Doodling on a piece of paper is not labor. Sorry, it's not.
I can doodle too. Anyone can do that. It's not labor.
Yes,
You're
it
not
is.
physically transforming the natural
What do you
world by
do with the
doodling
fucking
nonsense
pen,
on a piece
Haas?
of
You
paper.
hold the pen. You type on the keyboard. What do you mean you don't think it's physical labor? It's mental labor.
Typing
type-
on the
You sacrifice.
on
All
a
right, look.
keyboard is
You want
not
to talk about this
physical
seriously?
labor.
You want to talk about this seriously? I'll stop yelling because you got to understand. Because of the writer's strike, I've been out of work for months, so I'm a little high. I'm a little high strung right now.
Okay, so you're a writer.
No, I'm not. I'm an electrician.
So why have you been out of work because of the writer's strike?
Because without writers, we can't film. Without writers, we don't have continuity. You need a continuity supervisor.
What kind of electrician are you? You're a Hollywood electrician?
New York electrician.
What does that mean?
It means movies that are filmed in New York. I work as an
So
electrician.
you're a movie electrician, is that right?
Yeah.
Why don't you blame the writers? Why are you blaming me?
I'm not blaming. What I'm saying is, blaming the writers is not right. You're literally,
Yes, it is.
No, you're what you need to blame is. Let me pull up the exact quote. The studio execs who said, quote, "The end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses." Why, if you're a communist, would you root for that?
I'm not. I just don't care about these writers.
Then you are rooting for the producers to fuck us over.
No, I'm not.
What do you
No, I'm
think?
not.
What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for the writers, the producers, and the entire industry to be blown up.
The writers and the producers are two different people. It's two different classes.
No, I hate the whole industry. I actually think the whole industry should be blown up.
Why? Oh, why? Because I'm giving you a hard time in your chat, you fucking idiot?
No. Because if you want me to calmly reply to you, then don't interrupt me. I detest the culture industry in this country. It is rotting the brains of the American people. It's producing mediocrity and garbage, and the American people themselves can feel it. All these movies are stifling our creative abilities, and they're not even being created anymore with any soul, with any passion, or any spirit. They're being created in a really cynical, fucking stupid, mindless, idiot way that's lowering the average IQ of all Americans across the country. Of course, I want to see these mainstream Hollywood pieces of shit. I want to see all of them go down under. The writers, the executives, the actors, fuck all of them. You know who I do kind of support? I like these new indie movies. I like foreign cinema. I like Chinese cinema. Even
they have
Spanish
writers
cinema.
too, dude.
I like the
they have
Indonesian
writers
people who are
too.
filming movies.
What are you talking about? They have writers too. What makes us special?
They're a monopoly. Listen, Hollywood's a monopoly. And I oppose them. It's that simple.
Well, actually, it's not. Hollywood is a series of little studios formed
and they're monopolies.
They're fucking not, dude.
They are cultural monopolies.
Look, okay, can I explain? Actually, you brought up a very good point. Why there's no soul created in. Let me turn off, first of all, your.
Because writers are mediocre.
Do you know why? Because the working.
Because they hire mediocre people who are fat, lesbian, trans.
How do you know? The working conditions are not
because
great.
I watch the garbage. I watch the garbage that's on Netflix, and fat, black, trans lesbians make it.
All right, look, those are nice little aphorisms, but let me explain why the writing is bad. When you're in a writing room, you're there for maybe the current position of writers is that you could be in for a day, 2 days, and then be let go. When your work could be used for a week. They're not kept on stable contracts, and they're bouncing from room to room.
So did the writers who wrote Terminator 2, were they on an unstable contract? Because that was a great movie.
Probably not, because, for all intents.
So the writers for Terminator 2 were all taken care of, living in a workers' paradise? Is that why the movie was good?
Well, what do you mean by workers' paradise? That doesn't, what does that have to do?
Listen,
what does that
writers
have to do?
Have never had rights, but in the past they used to make good stuff, and now they make garbage, and they feel entitled to it. Listen,
that's the executive. Those are movies by committee.
I don't like the entitlement. If you're a writer, then you're being a writer on the merits of your alleged creative ability. If you don't have that creative ability, you're not entitled to being a creative worker.
What the hell are you talking about?
Steamboat, why don't those writers get jobs as electricians? What gives them the right to demand that everyone respects their creative ability when clearly, in terms of what we, the consumers, think right now, we feel like we're stuck with their garbage and we don't see them as creative.
Because the executives make movies run by committee. They think with their $77 billion profit that they have to scrounge around the couch and they can't afford to pay workers a decent wage. Like just recently with IATSE.
Listen, I think
Just
workers
hold
should be
on.
paid a decent wage. Okay.
Let me finish my point.
Yeah.
In New York City, IATSE, Local 52, we actually had the same problem that the writers did, which is basically the producers leaving us on red until the last minute and then saying, take this deal or you're not working. So because we wanted to make sure the industry didn't collapse, we took the deal that we didn't want. But we got codified sick leave. We got a slight bump in pay, 3%.
Because you love the industry.
But to compete and to make sure that we can keep rent and not lose our houses, it has to be more than 6.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you get paid as much as a writer?
Well, that depends. It depends on what movie.
On average, just on average.
We'd probably get paid. Okay, look, we probably get paid about the same, but it depends on what movie you're on. There's different tiers. There's different.
You think on average you get paid the same as the average writer?
Well, also there's different positions. Like there's different positions on a film set. There's third electricians.
I'm just saying
and
on average because what I'm hearing is that writers make maybe on average around 100,000 for what they do.
No, they make about the same that we do. And if usually that's the case, and if that's the case, if someone's making $100,000, they're most likely a showrunner or someone who's also a producer, because they're not only getting money from WGA as a writer, but they're also getting producer credit. So, and that's with the AMPTP, who those are the bad guys.
All right, so the average writer's salary in Hollywood is $65,000 per year.
Yeah, that's about the same as like
and most experienced workers make $80,000.
Yeah, where you getting that DOL? Because I have that up too. I think.
Distractify. The current average income for Hollywood writers is $69,510.
All right, so we're looking at about the same. It's about the same. It's what's called It's called below the line.
So here's my problem, right? Writers are what I would call a privileged profession and job to have. So for an ordinary Joe who needs to get by, you go and become an electrician. You take up a trade. You go work for a factory. Or if you're really down on your luck, you have to work in the service. You got to work at McDonald's, whatever, grinding those 9 to 5s, right? Barely scraping it by. So if you can be so blessed so as to fulfill your dream and have a creative job where your job is not just you doing some kind of mechanical task of just pure labor, but based on your mind, your creative ability, quote unquote, I don't think that can be something that's protected by any collective form of organizing. I don't respect that, because if you want to be such a worker, be a worker. But you should be lucky if you're a creative, because a creative is someone who's respected on their talents. Now, if you're an electrician, a poor electrician and a talented electrician, all of them at least have one thing in common. Regardless of whether they're good at their job or not, they all have one thing in common. More or less, they get the job done. More or less.
But what does that mean? Okay. What does that mean?
They have a job and they get it done.
Okay.
More or less.
Okay. So why?
And that is it's a technical objective job. It's based purely on a technical objective basis, right? But creativity is not something you can measure on an objective basis. If I write something...
Yes, you can. What do you mean objective?
No, it's not. Because if I write something, for example, if I write a script, and if it's soulless and disgusting and mediocre and worthless...
Doesn't matter.
Right?
Did it sell? Did matter. Does it sell?
But here's the problem with that. Americans
I don't
need
care.
entertainment.
Sure, but is it going to pay my rent? I don't care.
Yeah. Well, you're not paying attention to what I'm saying, okay?
I am. I just feel like we're going in circles.
Creativity is not something you can objectify. It's based in whether or not it enriches the soul of the people who watch it, by and large. And writers, they have a job, which is to be talented. And if they're not talented and they can't make a huge name for themselves on the basis of their talent, that's not my problem. they should just go take an actual job doing labor instead of being entitled to a job of them, quote unquote, being creative. In an oversaturated industry that is churning out mediocre, repetitive nonsense that's soulless and disgusting. And moreover, with Chat GPT and technology on the rise, and a new niche that indie filmmakers are starting to fulfill, that are actually made for a horror industry is already. Hollywood can't make shit in with that regard. Indie films completely take over everything.
Well, they need writers too.
In terms
no?
of action films,
They
in
need
terms of
writers
action
too,
films,
no?
in terms of high budget films,
they need
I
writers.
kind of do see it as a monopoly because Americans do need to be inspired with, entertainment and high budget films.
What do you mean inspired?
Blockbuster movies.
It has
that
to
kind
make
of
money.
That participate in the soul of this country of, what motivates us to get up in the morning and be inspired and whatever.
You don't think Breaking Bad was a master class on why we need universal health care? You don't think
it doesn't have to be about healthcare. It has to somehow enrich the soul.
So what enriches your soul? Do you watch anything? Do you
It's not about me. It's about the feeling.
You made it about you this entire conversation.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
It's about the feeling of the American masses, which cannot be
facts
objectified.
over feeling. So why are you? I also
no. This is where you got to take
hold
it. And
on.
it.
Hold,
it's not. Hold on, buddy. It's not facts over feelings.
Oh,
when it's a
man.
creative industry.
Wow, I really fucking touched a nerve, didn't I? I touched a fucking nerve, didn't I?
Because you're saying it's facts over feelings, when these are creatives.
Wow, and they're the ones making your TV. They're the ones making your TV, you fucking idiot.
When these are a bunch of airy-fairy writers who only make money from feelings.
That's what you're doing right now. You're not supporting the fucking workers because you personally don't see the value in it.
Because their income is based on feelings. I support
my God.
Feelings.
No, you don't. You don't because you feel that writers don't deserve as much as me, an electrician, which is fucking stupid.
I support workers who get their income based off of material facts.
That's a writer. Without writers, you don't have a TV show. Why would you root for the destruction of a pillar of American culture because you don't like it?
And no, it's not just me. The majority of America feels this way too about this disgusting.
You talk to the majority? Wow. I don't think you did. I don't think you do. You had a hard time pulling 200 on your stupid fucking tweet. I don't think you've talked to anybody. I really don't.
Well, I have. And
because I'm rubber and you're glue, whatever you say doesn't matter.
I think it's clear. I think it's you have to be a liar to deny that Americans
and you have to be a fucking idiot to think Starbucks workers don't contribute to writers.
I have to mute this who's probably castrated, which is why he sounds like a fucking goddamn munchkin from fucking Wizard of Oz or some shit.
Unbelievable.
So
now you and I both know he didn't mute me because I interrupted him. I let him speak a lot. He's mad about the tweet. You think I'm full of hot air? Here, I'll explain. This was the tweet I gave Haas a hard time about. Now, I was hanging out in his Discord before he had me on. This tweet took about an hour and a half to get the 200 likes. Now, pardon me for being a normal person, but I think for a Twitter page with 38,000 followers, that rate of engagement is not very impressive to me. Now, compare that to a pinned post by Haas's crush, Yari Jones, the fat, black, trans lesbian who he clearly has a crush on because he can't stop fucking yammering about her. Her pinned post, which had her on the cover of Vogue Philippines for June of this year, a couple months ago, has more engagements than that tweet. In fact, I wanted to be generous to Haas and make a comparison between a Twitter thread he made about Cornel West and counted all the tweets and all the engagements with that same post, and it still couldn't sniff the same engagement rate. It's almost like the masses that he's talking about are more interested in hot people having fun than people who are full of shit up to their eyeballs. Haas, you got an inconvenient boner one time. It happens to everybody. Don't make it her problem. So we've approached the end of the first quarter, and much like Josh Allen in Vegas last week, we got 45 minutes of garbage time left. So as far as color commentary for me goes for the rest of this bit here, It's gonna let it ride. We've uncorked this and let it fully breathe. Let's just enjoy it. You know, it all just goes back to a piece of advice my dad gave me a long time ago. You give a man enough rope, he'll find a way to hang himself. But in Haas's case, it's going to be death by stepping on 1,000 rakes.
One of the reasons why these writers are on strike in the first place is because of the overall decline of the entertainment industry. Netflix is losing profits at a record pace. If you didn't know this, Disney is going bankrupt because of Disney Plus and what it's doing to that company. Hollywood is increasingly shit out of luck. So for some reason, the industry is getting hit hard as a whole. And however much profits they've been making, as you're saying, they are declining. They are declining. And so these writers going on strike just proves that this industry needs to die. And I support, if you want to talk about what I do, it's not ideals. I have to pick and choose which people I give my attention and time to.
Hello.
And you came here, Steamboat. This is how I know you're such a fucking
He's lucky
parasite.
he muted me. It's probably the smartest thing he's done all night.
These Hollywood people. So you love Hollywood. You love the industry. You
at least I don't need a stepladder to shove my foot up your ass.
There's a
shrimp.
UAW strike going on, which I've tried to spend the entire stream giving attention to. But you came here and raised hell.
Oh, yeah? Well, you go turn on a hose.
And wanted to redirect the attention away from the workers right now who are on strike, which will potentially bring the entire country to its knees. That's how ground shaking it is when auto workers go on strike in terms of the effect and ripple effect it has. You want to take attention away from that and direct it toward Hollywood writers? That just goes to fucking show where your allegiance lies. You're a prostitute of the Hollywood industry. You don't care about the fucking working class. If you cared about the working class, you'd shut the fuck up and focus on the actual working class on strike. But you tried to redirect this entire topic to Hollywood writers? What the fuck is that? Hollywood writers have... Listen, this is why. Because when the UAW goes on strike, that shakes the nation. Hollywood writers going on strike, nobody cares. It'll have no effect on anything. So you can talk about the billions that are made, but one thing will become a national security crisis, and the other thing has been going on for a long time, and nobody cares. There's a reason no one cares about the Hollywood writers, and it's not because Hollywood writers are more oppressed than auto workers. It's because auto workers are the backbone of this country, and Hollywood writers are a privileged caste of so-called creatives who feel like they're entitled to earn the same thing that actual American laborers make.
Am I on?
And not only the same, but extremely more. For some odd reason.
What a fucking
a real artist is never entitled to a damn thing. An artist makes money off of the merits of what they do and nothing else. An artist is adored, it is loved, is recognized because of how good their work is. The work speaks for itself. Picasso didn't have to fucking unionize.
Oh my God.
Michelangelo doesn't have to fucking unionize. Okay? Mark Twain doesn't have to fucking unionize.
What?
You only have to unionize when what you're doing is necessary for the common good. There is no writer who has the right to say, my labor is necessary for America. No, it's not. No, it's not. The latest Star Wars nonsense on Disney Plus is not necessary for the American people. It's not. You cannot be entitled to sit here and say that you can collectivize and unionize and feel entitled to that. Now let me unmute this fucking retard. Go.
Okay. That was a whole lot of nothing that you just said. It's the same argument because you don't see the value. But it's... I
don't.
But you understand. But you got to understand, right? When I say movie by committee, I'm talking about executives going by what is A, the safest, B, what's going to sell, and C, it doesn't matter that if it's...
Why should I care? Okay, they're reaping so much profits off
That-
of this highness thing they're doing. Why should I
Right.
care?
Because some of that should come to shit. All right, if you don't care about the
Why?
writers, it should go to me. It should go to the guy
I
who's
agree.
laying down the cable.
I agree. I don't object to that.
Right. But writers put a lot of work in a specialized trade, something that they worked a long time to do. Like Picasso,
Tough shit.
like
Tough shit.
you said, okay, you know that story if you talk about Picasso. You know that story about Picasso where he drew a little thing on a napkin and someone said, oh, can you draw this for me? He said, yeah, that'll be $1 million. And then they asked
Yeah.
why. Yeah, and then they asked why. Because the years of study, practice, and the acclaim that he's gained.
And if someone's willing
Right.
to pay for it, they pay for it. That's not his fault.
Right, so you
The
just
sucker wants to pay for that.
Right, so you just undermined your entire argument.
No, Steamboat, I didn't, because let's go back to it.
No,
If
dude.
this is just
No, no,
just about
You
my feeling, you're saying this is about my feeling, correct?
Yes, because the
I
whole
feel
woke
what the
go
writers
broke shit
make-
is wrong.
I feel what the writers make is shit. Now, unless you can demonstrate an objective criterion that what they make is good beyond the profits artificially that are being made, which, by the way, are declining in record numbers, and which, moreover, are in no way foundational to the economy, unless you can demonstrate some objective criterion that shows that this is not just feeling, then I cannot be pressed to sympathize with these writers. I mean, if I feel that what they make is shit, how am I wrong? What makes me wrong? You know?
Because a good chunk of that $77 billion was for licensing. Was for
Okay.
putting stuff on.
You're mentioning a lot of money, aren't you?
Right, because that's where the root of
Right.
it. That's the
Steamboat.
root of evil,
Just
correct?
so you can get your priorities in order.
Whoa, hold up.
Do you know-
I'm advocating for writers getting paid more. What are you talking
Okay,
about?
you mentioned a lot of. You're making it seem like that $70 billion is like some objective proof that what they do is important, correct?
No, what I'm talking about is the licensing. That means people like the show that they're watching so
Hold on.
much that streamer.
That is not necessarily true.
Hold on,
And
can
B,
you? Oh boy, can you let me
it's
finish?
not true.
Yes, it is.
People like what they do based on the options available to them and nothing else. And if you ask people if there's been a marked decline in quality, not only do they agree, the numbers that you're citing also agree. That's why Disney's going bankrupt because of Disney Plus's failure. That's why Netflix is increasingly losing profits and it's declining profits. But anyway,
Hold
what
on,
I wanted
Hodge.
to
Hold on, Hodge. Would you
Yeah.
agree? Would you agree with me that if you raise workers' pay in any industry,
No,
that they work better? That's
No.
That's crazy because that's true.
no, I wouldn't say in any industry. But in any case,
Why?
let me ask you a
Why?
question. But let me
Why?
ask you a question.
No, wait.
You
why?
mentioned-
You can't just say that and then
I
run
will
away.
answer you as soon. I will answer you as soon as I can get through this.
No,
I've
but
been trying to say.
just make it cut.
So
just
I'll
make it
answer you,
really
but first,
easy. Just
I will
answer right
answer you.
now.
I will answer you, but first, 70 billion. Okay. Do you know how much money the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, printed in the year 2021?
I don't give a fuck. What does that mean? What does that mean? Why does that justify writers not being treated the same as auto workers? Why does it justify cutting an entire movement or sectioning an entire movement because they don't wear hard hats? Like that's silly.
Steamboat.
That's silly.
Steamboat.
What?
Steamboat.
What? For
The
fuck's sake,
number,
what?
the number is 13 trillion.
Who gives a shit? Why aren't producers giving writers more money so they can make better stuff?
Because what writers are making is shit, and the profits prove it. Because it's in
No,
decline.
do you know why they're getting record-breaking profits while the quality is so
They're
bad?
not.
Yes, they
Netflix-
are, dude. In 2020 alone, they made more money than they have in their whole
because we were
existence.
all stuck at home because of
Right.
quarantine. There was no other
Right,
reason
because
for
nobody's
that.
reading a book; they're watching TV shows. They're watching
Yeah,
TV
because
shows
we
for the
were-
writing.
because,
Without the
because
writers,
the
you wouldn't
government
have
came
them.
in and forced
Oh
us to be in
my God.
lockdown.
Oh my God, that's not what I'm talking about.
Let me ask you a question. If the government can print like $13 trillion, why shouldn't Netflix be free? Why shouldn't we just have these things for free?
That's
Why
not
do we have to pay for
that's
them?
not the Treasury's fucking issue. That's the Netflix issue. Ask the executives, and they'll tell you the same thing.
No, it's
because
not. It's
we
not
want
the
more.
executives.
What?
It's our
I
overall
don't.
government. You have to look at the big picture, which is why
A big
focusing
picture
on
that everybody's
this
what? Because
gibberish-
everybody's a Fed. Come on. I've seen your Discord.
focusing
It's
on this
wild.
gibberish writer strike is taking away from the big picture.
You have not said once why is it that the executives should not give money to these writers. Why are you so eager to have executives keep their money, but not the writers?
To be clear,
or me?
Okay,
Or me?
This is a logical problem on your end.
On my end.
Yeah, Steamboat. If executives, for example, tomorrow decided to say, writers, I'm going to pay you $500,000 now. Am I going to go run to the writer's strike and like prevent it from happening? I'm not. I have priorities. I just don't care about
because you weren't arsed to go to the fucking UAW rally. Why would you support the writers?
I honest to God should have been there in Detroit today covering it, but I had no idea it was going to happen, and it was too late when I found out it did happen.
See,
I had reasons, by the way. It's not like I was doing nothing all day today.
Yeah, I did too.
In any case,
it doesn't matter.
I do actually support and care about the auto workers that are striking.
Yeah, but they also it doesn't matter if they are writers or not. They still get fucked over by the executive class.
Well,
the workers,
not. Well,
right?
Here's the thing. You said you don't care about Marx. I'm a Marxist. I have an analysis of U.S. society where I understand things like, for example, auto workers represent the interests of general labor of the entire working class, and writers represent what we call craft unionism, which is a tiny privileged layer of the employed population, not even members of the working class.
I don't think $77 billion.
For example, Steamboat. Let me give you an example. Let's say there's a daughter of a billionaire in NYC, and she's throwing a tantrum because her dad is not giving her allowance, bumping it up by $10,000 per month. Right now, currently their allowance is at $20,000. And let's say they want it to be at $30,000. You're asking me, why shouldn't her billionaire father give her $10,000? I don't care, right? That's not something I'm going to support.
No. You're comparing the writers. You're comparing
the heiress should be getting way more money from her dad. I don't care.
I'm not gonna allow you to frame working writers, right? People who've come up from service industry work, or look, I'm a writer. I write my own comics. You don't give a shit about that.
Popular? Well, are your comics popular?
Well, probably not because I just started. But it doesn't matter. Okay. I'm still writing because I think there's value.
So do you feel entitled to get paid for your comic books right now?
Well, if people like them, it's up to them to pay. Like, I'll never ask people to pay. Never.
I agree. And people don't like what the writers are making.
Right, but that's not entirely the writer's fault.
It is.
Showrunners are... Raz, have you ever been to a writing room?
Yeah.
Where?
New York.
Where? What studio?
Fat Retard Incorporated.
Good one. So no, you haven't. Okay. So a writer's room has what's called a showrunner, and they're usually either a producer or connected to the producers. And everything that the showrunner does is indicative of where the show's going to go. So whether they are following a producer's lead or not, that's an executive thing. That they're.
Well, why should I care?
Because the workers, the people under the showrunner, they're the ones who are getting paid the same as me. They're the ones doing the grunt work.
But let's say ChatGPT just takes over everything they do, then what?
Well, if I have anything to say about it, it won't. And if the writers and the
you're
actors,
basically you're holding back our technology.
So again, what communist advocates for the obliteration of a section of work? What? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand.
Blasted off into space. I think they should be blasted off into space. No oxygen.
You would, because writers are typically
because you've made me hate them. You have made me hate them.
No, you've hated them long before I got on your chat.
Them, but you made me hate them because I made a stream about the striking auto workers, and you came here to make it about them. That's why I hate them.
Because they're the same people.
No,
they are the same class.
Makes me hate them. the fact there's someone who exists who thinks that makes me fully hate these writers. I hate them with all my. I hate them. I completely hate them.
So you don't actually care about workers wherever they are. It only matters,
No,
if
no,
they're
I
wearing
care
hard
about
hats.
real
No,
workers. I care
there
about
it
real
is.
workers.
There it
I
is.
care
The
about
word
real
real
workers.
workers. That's not.
They're not real workers.
Why? Because they also
Because they don't produce anything.
Yes, they do. They make the fucking
No, they
movies.
don't.
They write the
No, they
movies.
don't.
You fucking dingbat.
And the movie is shit, and I shit on the movie.
Yeah,
'cause
they're
it's shit.
they're still making money, whether you like to go see it or not. They're still workers.
Yeah, and
They
there's
still
OnlyFans
produce.
girls who are pissing in a pot, and that makes money. Doesn't mean I respect it.
That's not the same thing, and you know that.
Yeah,
You're just
it is.
you're
Yeah, it
just
is. It's literally
it's just
prostitution.
saying
It's the
this.
same thing. So
It's
okay,
just saying
do you think whores are workers too?
What?
Do you think a whore is a worker?
Well,
Because a brothel also makes money. So are whores workers? Is sex work real work?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, there we go. So
Good.
there we go. You know, I'm glad you admit that. So this is all
Why
I
is
was
that?
trying
Hold
to
on.
demonstrate.
Whoa,
This
whoa,
guy
whoa, whoa,
thinks.
whoa.
So you're saying that the UAW auto workers are just like whores? That's what you're saying.
They're being treated like that by the executives. Yes.
But you're saying that whores are just as much workers as they are, right?
No, because nobody wants to fuck you. That's the only reason why you call them
So
whores.
they're just like whores. You're
what the hell are
calling the working class. You're saying auto workers are the same as whores.
And that's
what they
rich.
do is
That
just
is
like what a whore
rich.
does.
That is rich
when
coming from a
man
guy who
goes
said
to a
lazy
factory-
crackhead.
When a man, so
That
let
is
me get this straight.
rich.
When the man goes to a factory and he's trying to provide for his family, you are saying his job has the same level of dignity as a whore. Like what he's doing is like what a whore does.
Well, they're getting whored out by the executives, which means we have to do
whoa,
something
whoa,
about it.
You can talk about how they're being treated unfairly, but
Yeah,
let's say
but
there's a-
because you
okay,
won't.
Let me. Okay, Steamboat, I have to mute you because you're out of control. So I have
Oh
to
my
ask you.
God.
Let's say let me give you a hypothetical. Let's say there's a GM worker who's being treated well. Let's say it's a socialized company and there's no bosses. And then let's say there's a whore at a brothel and it's a socialized brothel, cooperative. Are you saying that an auto worker is the same as a whore? Because I get it. If you want to use it as an analogy to talk about how unfair they're being treated, Marx did that before. So that's not what I'm asking, though. I'm asking you, do you think what auto workers do is like what whores do? That they're both workers? And you said yes.
Not in the
So that is
exact
all I
same.
needed from you.
Not in the exact
Because
same
if I go
way.
on the picket line and tell
Oh my
UAW
God.
workers, hey, this guy thinks you're the same as a whore. What you do is just like what a whore does.
What a dishonest
And
pig.
they say, oh, let me at him. They'll find you and beat the shit out of you is what they'll do. So there you go. And I don't even need to argue with you about it because you've just insulted the auto workers that are going on strike right now. Because what they do is honest work. And that's why they deserve the demands that they're asking for. They do honest, important, necessary work. That is the organized power of the working class. The working class doesn't want to be whores. That's not what they want. That doesn't mean they're saying that they don't want to work in factories or make cars. Because even under socialism, there's still going to be people doing that. But there's not going to be whores. So there you go.
Am I unmuted? Why are you calling him?
Yeah.
Why are you calling him whores?
You
Why?
are.
You just called them whores. I didn't say
You
whores.
are.
I said sex worker. You said whores.
Okay, my bad. You're comparing them to sex workers.
I just compared them to sex workers. Because they're not doing literally the same thing. What I'm saying is
But you're saying
they're
that
in different positions of
when a
power.
UAW guy says, I'm part of the working class,
Oh my God.
it's the same way a whore would say it, right?
No, they're two different. Oh my God, this is giving me a fucking headache. Look,
There you go.
Sex
Dude. Look,
workers,
writers
sex
are workers, whores
sex
are workers. Everyone's a
sex
worker, right?
work.
Right.
Yes,
Hey, can I ask you a
if they are generating a profit for the billionaire class, and they're using either their body, their hands, their tools, whatever.
Uh-huh.
If there is a power difference between executives and workers, the people who are doing the work and the people that are sending them, then yes,
Okay, so you have a criterion that I have to
You have a
pose the question with.
my point
CEOs,
is you
some
have a
CEOs
criteria.
fulfill that criterion.
No, you
Because
had
while
the
they might have a
criteria.
power
This was
difference,
this
for
was
example,
this was the problem.
over the employees, there's also a power difference where, for example, shareholders
Oh my
or a board of trustees,
He's not going to say what I think he's going to
shareholders
say.
have power over them. So is a CEO a worker? And if so, why? If not, why not? Also, do writers not exert power over people like you? Since whenever they decide to go on strike, you're out of a fucking job. Go ahead.
Writers and electricians, writers, grips, electricians, crafty, whoever, they are united against
Can
the
you answer my
producers.
question? Are CEOs workers?
No, they're not.
Why not?
Because they hold all the power and all the money.
That's
that
not
make,
true.
Oh,
That's not true.
Are
That's
you
not true at all.
Are you out of your
That is not
fucking
true.
mind? What do you mean?
I have to mute the retard and explain to him what a CEO does. A CEO is basically the top managerial position you can have. And while sometimes the CEO is also the owner, usually it's actually not the case. The CEO is paid a salary like anyone else, and they have a job to do. It's a managerial and administrative job, just like writers are doing a job. So I'll ask you again, because CEOs don't hold all the money and they don't hold all the power. That's not true. CEOs are appointed by a board of trustees. Usually it's a board of shareholders. And they can be removed by those shareholders. So I'm going to ask you again, are CEOs workers according to your paradigm? Go ahead.
Absolutely fucking not.
Why not?
Because a CEO, it doesn't matter if they're the owner or not. They're making the managerial decisions, right? Their jobs, my job rather, is
Interesting.
in their hands.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll respond to you. But writers also make consequentially managerial decisions. If a writer decides, for example, that they want the fat, obese POC trans woman to be like as big as Godzilla in the movie and have a blue screen as the background as they destroy the patriarchy, then that's going to be taxing on whatever electricians are going to be doing. So the writer's going to write this down on their little piece of paper, and then the people are going, okay, electrician, do this, that, based on what the writer says, because they're one of the creative visions. Now, they're not the ultimate creative vision because they're showrunners and producers, as you said, but they're in that hierarchy of the creative control. Creative control directly affects the manual labor that you do. Therefore, they are in a managerial position of power over people like you. So how do you square that? Are you just happy to do whatever they ask, or what's going on?
First of all, I'm not doing what the writers tell me to do. I'm doing what my boss tells me to do, which is a gaffer. Okay?
And what your boss tells you to do is what's based on what the writers want.
No, it's based on what the producers want.
But the writers are part of that hierarchy of creative control. So it's also what the writers want.
No, they're
not. It's also what the writers want. Then what's the point of writers? Why are they needed if it's just a producer? What do writers do?
They write the show.
Right. And if they write the show, that has direct consequences for what your boss tells you to do.
No, it doesn't.
It absolutely does.
Have you been on a film set? Have you been on a film set? I've been.
If I'm a writer and
no, you haven't. I've been in the film industry for 15 years. That's not how that works. Okay.
What writers request has direct implications and direct consequences for what people like you do on the set.
No, it's what producers do. The writers give the shit that they writing.
Producers
the producers
and writers are part of the same team of creative control.
They are not.
One has more power.
Then why
like I said, it's
a
hierarchy of creative control.
Oh my God.
But writers are still in that hierarchy. They're not at the top. I already said they're not at the top. But what they write still affects what people like you have to do. Therefore, they manage what you do, at least to some extent. And therefore, they're not workers according to your definition. Go ahead.
As I was saying, what producers do is make the schedule. They under the producers are the director, the first AD, second AD. Now they're all in cahoots with each other, figuring out scheduling, locations, actor schedules, and all that. They can
Okay.
make up anything
All right.
to
Can
try
I ask
and
you a question?
wait.
If a
I
writer writes in the script that they want a fat black trans Godzilla,
what does that have to do with the worker, dude? What does that have to
I
do with
add
anything?
okay,
If
okay,
any,
let me just mute you right now. A direct question.
oh my god.
If the writer writes in their script that they want a giant fat POC lesbian trans Godzilla over a blue screen with multiple technical effects and smoke and fire and all this kind of stuff in their script, is that possible for them to write technically demanding scenarios in general? Go ahead.
Well, that depends. Was the actor available that day? Is all the
Okay,
equipment
I'm
there?
going to mute you again.
Oh my god.
I didn't ask you if it depends. I asked, is it possible, yes or no, for writers to write technically demanding scenarios for the movie script? Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
That falls under like
Okay.
stage direction,
So let
screen
me
direction.
mute you again
Oh my
because
god.
you interrupt me and I have to ask you the question.
Oh my god.
Yes or no? If writers do write something that's technically demanding, do electricians have something to do with that, or are what electricians do unrelated to the technical demands of what's done on set? Go ahead.
Haas, you're not gonna like this.
Yeah.
It depends. That's the film.
No, it's a
That's the
yes
film.
or no.
That's
It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no. If writers want something technically demanding, does that typically require electricity or no? Or is there some other? Do they use the steam engine? Maybe they use the steam engine or they're using some other technology to power things. Go ahead. Is it the steam engine or is it electricity they use?
soul crystals, Haas. We have
Yeah.
fucking soul crystals.
No, it's electricity.
Of
so
course.
therefore, I'm right.
Right about what? The
I'm
writer.
right about the fact that writers have power over people like you.
No, producers and executives have power over all of us. That's the point. You're
Yeah,
missing.
but here's the thing. But writers still have power over you. If it's a pyramid, they are higher on the cast over you. They exercise a position of power over people like you. What they whimsically write down is related to the tasks people like you have to perform. And what they write down is based on their own so-called talent and creative ability and not based on fulfilling some kind of demands of technical necessity as labor does. It's not like a factory where, for example, somebody is assembling a part and passes it down and it's just a pure kind of fulfillment of utility. It's a creative job. People like you have to submit to the whims of the creative gods who you love and you get on your knees for and worship and you adore them. Go ahead.
I actually don't, because those guys are the reasons why I don't have a job right now.
So why are you yelling at me? Why don't you go beat up some writers?
I'm not gonna beat up a writer. I'm not gonna beat up anybody. That's not the point.
So go yell at writers.
No, because the writers are not at fault here. It's the executives. They are
Well, I'm not at fault either.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm not at fault either. That's not my problem.
Then you're not a real
As a
advocate.
communist, it's not my problem.
Then you're not a communist. Because
Okay, Steamboat, I'll explain this to you. And then if you're half sapient and sentient, you'll get it. As a communist, generally the American people are my problem. But there's layers to this. So for example, do I think the writers strike demand is just? Of course not. But do I think people in general should be entitled to a decent job, decent way of living, a decent way of paying their bills? Yeah, I do. I do. And I think that's the general demands of the working class. And that is why I support the auto workers. And if I was in power in government, I would destroy capitalism as we know it and take us to full communism. And I'm sure those writers, once they are no longer allowed to leech from the rest of us doing their nonsense, will be able to have dignified jobs, right? But here and now, that issue is not my problem. Them going on strike is not my problem. The writers, they're not my problem. You seem to not understand this. Well, they work hard, so maybe, but it's not my problem. Now, the auto workers are my problem as a communist because they represent the demands of general labor, not just the auto industry, not just a small segment of labor, quote unquote labor, not like the Starbucks baristas, not like writers. They represent all of labor because they represent the institutional power of labor for the American masses as a whole, not just their specific industry. And that's a very different thing. That's a very different thing than writers. It's like saying, oh, you don't care about a homeless guy in New York because I can't go fly to New York and feed that homeless guy? It's not my problem. Now, do I think we should solve this problem as a country? I do. But I am not going to devote my energy and resources as a communist to solving every single problem simultaneously. I'm going to tackle the problems that are related to the class war directly between the general working class and the capitalist class. That's what I'm going to focus on. I can't solve every problem at once. I can only focus on what matters strategically right now. And that's the UAW strike and the auto strike. You're trying to make it seem like the auto strike is on a similar level to the writer strike, but that's not true because the auto strike is going to cause a national crisis. And the writer strike will never do that. And there's a reason for why that is. It's that simple. It's literally that simple. Go ahead.
That, again, that was a whole lot of nothing. When you segment workers based on what you think is a working class or not, you're not really for the working class.
No, based on objectively whether their demands...
Says who? Said who?
Says science.
What science?
I'm Dr. Fauci, bitch. So
there it is! There it is! You don't know. You don't know. Just say you don't know.
Yeah, I
it's
do.
okay.
The science of Marxism.
It's okay. You don't know how the film industry works. That's why you had to mute me when I tried to explain myself.
I don't care about the film industry. According to science, there's an objective
What
criterion.
science? What's the name of the
science?
Science
of Marxism-Leninism. The science of Marxism-Leninism.
A literal proletarian dictatorship. That's stupid. That's gobbledygook.
Well, now I know where you stand on the matter.
I know where you stand. You don't give a shit about workers because to you, if they are not wearing a hard hat, they don't contribute any labor.
I don't care about workers. You just called the proletarian dictatorship gobbledygook.
No, I didn't. I called you gobbledygook because you're doing nothing except repeating yourself over and over again.
Marxism-Leninism is the most advanced science of the fighting working class, and you...
Yeah, says who? Says who?
Says history. Says historical experience.
What Marxist-Leninist country is out there that's thriving right now? Go.
China.
No, it's not. It is a state capitalist nation.
China is absolutely thriving.
State capitalism. That's yeah.
China is absolutely thriving. By every indication, it's thriving.
Yeah, because they make people who they don't like disappear.
Good. We should do that to the writers.
Why? Because they actually contribute something you can't wrap your head around? That's a bummer.
Because they make dog shit films and movies, that's why.
That's not their fault. I keep telling you, dude. Trust me.
It is their fault.
The guy who's been working in the film industry for 15 years. Please.
When I see, dude, but here's the thing. But you have to admit one thing. When I watch Netflix and there's these subtle decisions that are made, and these subtle jokes that are written in,
like what? Give me an example, please.
Like the woke stuff. It all comes from the writers. We all know it.
Well, first of all, the whole woke is, get woke, get broke, whatever the fuck that thing is, it doesn't make any sense. According to
you can say you agree, but broadly, when they have ugly actors and they have these ugly people, that's because of the writers.
Yeah, because a diverse cast actually brings in more money at the box office. It's been proven already.
But no, it doesn't. It's just because the writers hire ugly people
Says
that look
who,
like them.
Haas? Google it,
Because it's
please. I'm
so
begging
okay.
you.
Okay, you have to
I'm
Steamboat. You have
begging
to
you to
admit
Google
something.
it.
Steamboat, you have to admit something. Increasingly, movies and TV shows represent the tastes of writers, obviously, rather than the taste of ordinary people. So the kinds of people that are the actors or the actresses, the jokes, the mannerisms, it represents the very insulated social stratum that writers are in, their little echo chamber, which they confuse for the whole country. Now, a real artist strives to go outside their echo chamber, and really try and think outside the box. But writers are narcissists, and because they are fat, ugly, and retarded looking,
Oh my God.
all the actors are fat, ugly, and retarded looking because it makes them feel better about themselves.
Because it brings in
And that's
money.
a problem. That's a problem for me. And that is the writer's fault. And I'm disgusted by it, and I want to throw up every time I watch the nonsense they're putting out. I mean, I can't name a single good movie they put out
Oh my God. I don't think you can name any movie.
in the past, 3 years.
Of course, you're going to mute me.
And it's
No,
not
I
about
don't.
diversity, but you do have to ask the question,
It is
why
diverse.
is the Viking black?
Oh my God.
Those kind of decisions, who makes those? Why is like a fat Latino woman playing George Washington in a movie?
Because it's fucking
Why
sick.
is like a transgender fucking person in a wheelchair playing Abraham Lincoln? Why is Superman being played by like a 500-pound fat, obese retard with glasses? I don't know. I think it's the writers, though. Something tells me the writers have a lot to do with it. Now, I'm not saying all writers are like this, but it's like writers who have a passion for what they do will do it for the art and nothing else. They won't care about like getting more money. They do it for the sake of the art and nothing else because they love it and they have passion for it. And I don't respect anything short of that. I don't. If you're a McDonald's worker, I'm not going to sit here and ask you should love your job. Your job is shit. It's horrible. But if you're an artist, you have to love and be passionate about what you're doing. And if you are sitting here feeling entitled to money, then I don't recognize you as an artist. I just don't. Go ahead.
Why do you think it's important for an artist to suffer in order for them to be part of the working class? That doesn't make any sense from a creative aspect.
An artist will never be part of the working class, but by suffering, they have a kind of spiritual solidarity with the working class that allows them to tap into, in some ways at least, the existential ailments and predicament of the workers.
Hold on, Haas. I got a question for you. Do you not think that scenic artists are workers?
People who put the props and design all around the set or whatever.
No, those are set dressers. And
what's a scenic artist?
a scenic artist does. It depends on what movie. You can either have an entire painted background, or they replicate art pieces for camera. They also help design. They design props at times. There's and it's all based on.
If they went on strike, I wouldn't support them.
But then, according to you, is work because they're using physical labor in order to quote unquote get the job.
It's the creative discretion that I have a problem with.
Haas, I just don't think you like creatives. I think that's
you're not far off from where I'm getting at here. It's not that I don't like creatives. It's that I think it's disgusting that creatives feel entitled to being compensated on an industrial level for anything. That's what I have a problem with.
Dude, it's the entertainment industry for a reason. There are a lot more workers, whether they're writers, artists, grips or whatever. It doesn't matter what you think. I hate to tell you. Actually, I love to tell you. I love to disappoint you. It doesn't matter what
I am against the entertainment industry as a whole.
So then you're against me, a worker in the entertainment industry.
No, because I think as an electrician, you could be doing other things, not just
Like
being
what?
an electrician for entertainment industry. You could be an electrician for a lot of things. You have technical skills and knowledge and know-how in terms of your labor that could be translated into other things that are not. And I'm sure you're considering and thinking about those other things
Yeah, like
right now.
like making comics for a living and writing. Yeah, because
No, using your skills as an electrician for something different. I'm sure you're thinking of that.
well, I can't really do work like that anymore. I had reconstructive shoulder surgery. If my shoulder gets broken one
So
more
are
time,
you out
that's
of a
it.
job because you're of the writer's strike, or is it because of your shoulder?
I'm out of work because of the writer's strike, and that's all because
Okay,
they don't.
so
But the writers are
so
not. But
listen, I'm not
my
gonna get
point here,
into
the
the
writers are not. It's not the
nitty
writer's
gritty.
fault.
I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty of
Oh,
your
why
life right
start?
now.
Why start now?
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that um I think that artists who suffer, artists who care and are deeply passionate about the art that they do, are people who can connect with people that are outside their bubble. I think when writers get complacent and entitled, it creates corrupt echo chambers that are insular, that makes them out of touch with the masses, which is what we've actually started to see in increasing numbers. And this is not, by the way, I'm not just
Your chat
ragging
doesn't
on
think
writers.
your chat doesn't think I work a real job, and that's like
I think
wackadoo
I don't
shit. That's
I don't care what you
wackadoo
do.
shit.
Listen. We just pretend you do or you don't. Who cares? But the point is, I'll for the sake of argument assume you do. I don't know you personally. It doesn't matter. For the sake of argument, let's assume you do. The thing is, I'm not just picking on writers here. I think all of these new kinds of coddled corporate jobs, that whether it's people working for Twitter or Facebook or big tech or writers or anything else really, I really think there's such a level of out of touchness from the culture industry as a whole and America's creative industries and tech industries as a whole with ordinary Americans, where they're not even living in reality anymore. They're living in these bubbles. And I'm not saying that those workers are the ones we need to attack per se, these employees. I'm just saying it's a symptom of the bigger divide between the capitalist class and the working class, because that culture industry is created by the capitalist class and it is not speaking to the reality of working people anymore. So, you know, I don't think when some of these, when Starbucks goes on strike or these other people go on strike, it's like I don't see why, as a communist, I should see that as a similar level to when auto workers go on strike. It's just nowhere comparable. One industry solely exists at the creative discretion of the bourgeoisie, and these other industries are fundamental to the sustenance of the foundational kind of labor of this entire country, of the actual masses and the working class. And labor as a whole, taken generally, and that's very different. Some workers, like the Starbucks ones, they do what you call craft unionism,
What?
where they're no
Hold on.
longer
What is?
they're no longer expressing solidarity with the general working class, but their own specific craft only.
I
That
would
they and then they're like a guild, and it
hang.
is called that. It's
Hold on.
called the Writers Guild. So go figure.
Hold on a sec. Starbucks workers, they contribute to like I live in New York City. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a Starbucks. If one Starbucks closes, people freak out. They freak out.
Okay.
People need things like Starbucks. At least, they think they do.
Well, I actually think only a specific demographic of people
But it,
need Starbucks,
well,
and
right,
it's
but it
not the
doesn't.
demographic. It's not the demographic that I think is going to lead the class struggle against the capitalist class.
And I hate to tell you, pal, but if you're segmenting parts of a labor movement, you're not either. You can't.
I'm not even necessarily segmenting them as much as I'm emphasizing which ones need to be focused on and have a leadership role, and which ones are being focused on
But
only
that
because of the opportunism of the so-called socialists and leftists, who are engaging in a form of class opportunism where they're expressing solidarity with people most similar to them rather than what's in the interests of the entire general working class. For example,
if they are a group of people who are under an executive,
I don't think
I can't.
Starbucks workers, I don't support their unionization.
That's
But
crazy.
even
Then you're not.
I
Then you don't
support.
support the working class. You don't.
Okay, you didn't. You fuck's sake! You need to shut the fuck up for 2 seconds. I muted him. So I don't support Starbucks' unionization, but this is a good example. the UAW going on strike, the auto workers going on strike, that could have a ripple effect where suddenly the leverage of your average hireling at Starbucks has increased. And Starbucks might have to cave to, you know, working conditions that are more beneficial to, and working hours, moreover. That's probably the biggest one. And that's the power of what the actual working class can do for these semi-petty bourgeois elements, you know? So it's about what represents general labor. Because if Starbucks unionizes and goes on strike, there is no other segment of the working class that sees any of that. There's no ripple effect. So it's about the ripple effect that matters.
I
Does
agree. I agree.
Starbucks
I agree.
employees don't increase the leverage of auto
wait.
workers,
Wait,
but
Haas.
auto workers can increase the leverage of Starbucks employees.
Wait, Haas, listen. You know who has the big? You know who is united in class solidarity? Working class. I'd like to think so because unionization support is going up here, and I love it. But who really has the power and who really is united are the 1%. And it doesn't matter if it's entertainment, doesn't matter if it's Starbucks.
Does matter.
It does, because I'll tell you, everybody is interested in one thing, and that's making money in any which way but loose. Like,
can I ask you a question, Steamboat?
Can I finish my point?
No, I get your point, and we have to wrap this up soon. But I want to ask you a question.
Oh, thank God! Yeah, please.
When push comes to shove, if let's say auto workers or industrial hard hat blue collar workers are starting to organize, starting to express dissatisfaction with the status quo, and they do so in a way that, let's say, is politically incorrect sometimes. They say things that are toxic. They're not on board with the LGBT stuff. Do you think that writers who work for Hollywood will express solidarity with them? Just a yes or no. Do you think Hollywood writers would still have solidarity with the blue collar working class, even if it's like not politically correct and it's super toxic and the media is labeling them as fascists and so on? Go ahead, just answer.
Yes, because it doesn't matter what those people think.
So you're just a liar.
What?
And we see from the ideological content of what Netflix puts out, of what Disney puts out, that these people have a grotesquely establishment ideology and outlook across the board, and they have no inner solidarity with auto workers and the workers of this country, because those are the people that vote for Trump. I watch what these writers put out, and they demonize the blue collar working class routinely. And they don't have solidarity with general labor. They only have solidarity with themselves and people like themselves. So don't sit here and lie and pretend like these people have solidarity with the blue collar working class when it doesn't benefit them to. They may pay lip service now because they think it'll benefit themselves and their strike. But the truth is, writers in their consciousness are fully bourgeois, fully with the power in every regard. And they have a hatred and disdain for ordinary working people. And I know that because I watched the fruits of their work, quote unquote work. Go ahead, I unmuted you.
Well, if you actually think about it, those fat black lesbians, they make the fucking world go round. And that
Well, they got hired because of affirmative action.
No, they got hired because they're good writers. And they can make
No, that's not true.
Well, to you.
Steamboat,
to
let me
you,
ask you another question.
True. Oh my God! Stop!
A young, talented, aggressive
Stop
in terms of their creative outlook, young white male applies to be a writer, versus a fat lesbian trans POC who is also a sex worker. Who usually gets hired nowadays? Which one? the young, high testosterone, aggressive white male, even though he's more talented, or the one who's, offers a more diverse perspective and more equity, more representation? Who gets hired as a writer nowadays?
The person who is a good writer, who's also,
Lie.
oh my
and
god,
and
person was also a good writer.
that's not true. If the people who are getting hired to be writers are getting hired because they're good writers, then the quality of entertainment would have gone up rather than down.
That's not the
over
writer's
past
fault.
decades, okay? So you're wrong. Anything else?
It's not the writer's fault. It's
I beg to differ.
It's
It is their
producers and
fault.
movies by committee, but you wouldn't know that because you haven't stepped foot on a
All right, let
movie
me
set.
give you an example. Steamboat.
Oh, please. I wish you would.
Remember when the Netflix writers went on strike because Netflix wouldn't remove Dave Chappelle? Can you explain that in terms of the writers being good writers? Dave Chappelle was extremely popular. So according to the market, that was talented, right? And they were against it because it conflicted with their ideology, because Dave Chappelle is toxic and is a fascist, according to them. So can you explain how that's an example of working class solidarity, the Netflix walkout? Go ahead.
First of all, Dave Chappelle is not working class at all. Not at all.
I didn't say that. Why did the Netflix writers walk out? Because Netflix wouldn't censor him and get rid of him. Can you explain?
Yeah, because, well, if we want to talk business, it's not profitable to be an asshole. It's not.
Steamboat, Netflix data begged to differ. Dave Chappelle was extremely popular, and Netflix was more successful because of him. So you're wrong, actually. Now, can you answer the question now? Go ahead.
You're actually, I don't think that's right. I'm looking that up right now.
It is right. It is right. Dave
Netflix
Chappelle
is
was
losing
good for
money.
Netflix.
Netflix.
Steamboat, I already pointed out
Dave
Netflix was
Chappelle.
losing
Dave
money.
Chappelle is a financial
but in terms
loss.
of the people tuning in to watch Dave Chappelle on Netflix, he was consistently the top. When you know how it says top in the US, he was consistently that. Meaning he was popular on Netflix and that's why Netflix was putting him on in the first place. You said they're motivated by profit. I already pointed out that Netflix is losing money overall because usually what they point out is shit. But Dave Chappelle was actually like a rare exception to that. And they walked out on him. Why did they walk out? Explain.
They walked out.
It wasn't because Dave Chappelle was making them lose money. I'll tell you that. So what was the real reason?
Because people who do make money, the writers, are not going to write for that shit. So
why not?
Because he's a fucking prick. I wouldn't want to work for that either.
They don't have to write for him. They didn't even have to write for him. They just wanted him to be censored off of Netflix.
Who gives a shit? I don't think it's funny to punch down anyway. Nobody else did either.
Okay, so you don't care about the working class. You care about your
No, I don't care about bigots and racists. I don't care.
Steamboat, let me ask you a question. Go on the picket line at UAW. Do those people think Dave Chappelle's a bigot? Do they think he's a bigot on average? And this answer will determine whether you're continuing to be allowed to waste my time. Go ahead. Do people on the picket line at UAW, if you ask them, do you think Dave Chappelle's a bigot? What would they say? Yes or no?
It depends. Depends on who you ask. Either you ask a bigot. Oh my God, he hung up! Oh my God. He hung up. No way.
Majority of people who are picketing at UAW will say, oh, I like Dave Chappelle. He's really funny, and I don't think he's a bigot.
How do you know you didn't show up?
There you go. This just shows how out of touch you are and how nothing you say matters. Nothing you say.
Whatever. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Heard joke once. Man goes to doctor, says he's depressed, says life seems harsh and cruel. Says he feels all alone in a threatening world where what lies ahead is vague and uncertain. Doctor says treatment is simple. Great clown Pagliacci is in town tonight. Go and see him. That should pick you up. Man bursts into tears. Says, but doctor, I am Pagliacci. Good joke. Everybody laugh. Roll on snare drum. Curtains.